Hi guys, welcome. It's Colin from bashbackpain.com here. Today I want to talk a little bit about sacroiliac pain and give you a really effective stretch to hopefully get rid of that pain for good, okay? Now your sacrum makes up part of your pelvis, and the sacrum is this little sort of wedge-shaped bone, your tailbone as we also know it, which sits right there, okay? It's after the lower lumbar vertebra, you got what's called your sacrum, it's a little tailbone. Now, either side of the tailbone, as part of the pelvis, we've got what's called the iliums. There's two ilium bones, okay, and they sit either, we've got the pelvis, the sacrum here, and we've got an ilium bone either side of there. And that's what makes up what's called the sacroiliac joint. So we've got the sacrum, and one ilium here, and one ilium here, and we're walking, it's moving like so, okay, lift your leg, it moves, yeah? Now, a lot of people can have a lot of pain in that region, either from previous injury, from lower back issues. It can become tight, the muscles become tight, a lot of pain can result. So I'm going to show you a really simple, effective stretch to try to loosen up that SI joint area, sacroiliac joint area, get it moving again, and hopefully reduce your pain, all right? So for this stretch, we're going to be on the floor. Now I'm going to talk you guys through this. This is a El Doa stretch, which is like a decompression stretch, a creation of space stretch. It's not my stretch. This was from a course I did many years ago with a Dr. Guy Voyer, a very famous osteopath. There's a lot of work on the fascia and the spine region, so credit goes out to him for this particular stretch. I learned it from him many moons ago, and it is part of my lower back recovery program. So how do we go about this? So first thing, we're going to sit on the floor. We're going to open our legs as wide as we can go, okay? Just relaxed, yeah? Now don't worry, because I'm going to talk you through this very slowly, carefully, show you from different angles, okay? Now I want you to lean back onto your elbows, back here, so don't hit the back of the wall. There we go. Okay, that's me. So, there we go, I'm lying here. Nothing crazy just yet. Open my legs as wide as they will go. Now, I'm going to be rotating my legs inward, so they're out right now. I'm going to rotate them in. I'm going to bring my toes back towards my knees, and the inside edge of my foot is going to be turned in. So not out, but in, okay? So I'm going to show you the setup first, and then I'm going to get a little bit more technical. So the setup is, I'm on the floor, rotate my legs inward, toes towards my knees, inside edges of my feet inward. And I'm actually going to lock my knees, okay? Not lock with physical power, just lock them so they're straight. Okay, that's the first main position. Now, relax out of that position for a second and listen carefully. Now, what we're effectively going to try to do, or we will do, is we'll get our sacrum, as we discussed. We've got an ilium bone here and an ilium bone there. We're going to try to create some space, not that much space, okay, but some space, a few millimeters, between the iliums and the sacrum. How are we going to do that? We're actually going to keep the sacrum on the ground. We're going to move our legs, and that's going to help us create space, let the iliums move apart from the sacrum. How do we keep the sacrum on the ground? Okay, let me show you from the side. So, I'm going to be here, okay? Now if I arch my lower back like so, there's space in here. If I do the opposite of arching, if I try to flatten my lower back on the floor, and I'll show you again in a second from a different angle. If I floor my back on the floor, and I think about my belly button going through to the floor, and I'm pulling my tailbone onto the floor, that keeps the sacrum on the floor. If I arch, I lift it off. Do the opposite, pull it onto the floor. Now, what I mean by opposite, I'll show you another way. If I'm here like this, and I arch my back, and then I do the opposite. I squeeze my glutes, tuck my tail under. This goes back onto the ground, yeah? So I'm lying on the floor, and I arch my back, this lifts up. If I tuck my tail under to the opposite of arching, squeeze my glutes, tuck my tail, this comes down and flattens onto the floor. Again, just from the side. This is very important. So I'm here, okay? If I just arch my spine like so, it's off the floor. If I squeeze my glutes and I round my back and I pull that lower back into the floor, keeps the sacrum pushed on the floor. That's what we want to aim for, okay? So keep that in mind. Don't do it just yet. Keep that in mind. We're going to go back to the start position. So again, we get on the floor. I'm going to go into my elbows. I'm going to open my legs as wide as they will go. There's not much in my case. And I'm going to turn my feet in so the inside edges of my feet are in, toes towards my knees. Now, I'm not excessively pulling my toes towards my knees. I'm not excessively locking out my legs. I just put them in that position. I just turn it in or out. In, out. For the stretch, they're in, okay? Now, I want to pull my lower back onto the floor. So I'm doing that opposite of, not the arch, the opposite, pull down. Okay, now locking my knees are straight, toes are back. I want to rotate my legs in as much as they will go and hold that stretch. Push my lower back onto the floor, keep my sacrum on the floor, keep my chest up. Okay, I want to imagine my legs are opening. Okay, they won't, but you imagine. Pull that lumbar section onto the floor. Keep the tension in my legs. I'm not relaxed. The tension is on. I'm rotating inward, okay? When I say rotating, I mean rotating inward. So here, I'm rotating in, like so. Now you notice you're not going to move, okay? Because it's actually opposing tensions. I'm trying to rotate in at the same time as pull my legs apart. Keep that lower back squashed on the floor. Keep it on the floor, and then relax. Okay, relax. I'm going to show you again from the side in a second. So it's this opposite tension, this tension which helps create space. So we're pulling the lower back on the floor. That keeps the tailbone, sacrum, squashed on the floor. We basically bring our feet, we turn them in, yeah, and then we try to pull them apart. And it's that pulling apart and internal force which it helps to create that space from the sacrum and the ilium, pulling it away. So I want to show you again from the side, okay? So here, on the elbows, legs wide as they will go. I rotate the legs inward, toes back towards my knees. I lock my knees out, they're not flexed, I lock them out. Pull my lower back onto the floor, squeezing down, and then I rotate the legs inward and imagine my legs are pushing out. Okay, the heels are going away from me. At the same time, I'm rotating in, pulling that lower back onto the floor. I hold. 15, 20 seconds to start is perfectly okay. And then I relax. All right? And just to repeat, I'm repeating myself, I know, but it's a technical stretch. I want to make sure you get it. When I'm saying rotate the legs inward, rotate inward and hold that position. Okay, they're held there, they're rotating in, and imagine I'm opening them out at the same time. It won't move because it's opposing forces, but it creates enough tension for us to get the separation away from the sacrum with the ilium, yeah? Now, one of the common issues you get to start with is a little bit of cramping, just up in here. Very, very common. I often get it myself. If you feel that happen with the stretch, okay, all you need to do is I'm in position, okay, I feel fine. I bring the stretch on. I'm really trying to turn my legs inward, and I feel, cramping. Just relax the legs off. Just relax the legs off, 5-10 seconds, and then put the stretch back on again, okay? You may want to also reduce the intensity of the stretch. So if you're going, like really fully trying to turn those legs in and you feel cramping, just ease off 10% of your power. Keep, of course, the lower back pushed on the floor. That's the most important thing, is the lumbar spine pushed onto the floor. Okay, maintain that. Cramping's too much. Just relax off a little bit, yeah? You're learning a new technique. It is quite common to have, obviously, teething problems in the beginning. So don't worry too much about the cramping. Now, as far as when should you do this, how often, intensity, etc. What I just mentioned earlier, 10, 15 seconds to start with, is perfectly okay. Okay, that's a good start point. You're going to be learning the stretch, looking over this video, 10 to 15 seconds. Then you want to work up to 1 minute is perfect. Okay, 1 minute would be great. Make sure you keep breathing. Don't hold your breath during the stretch. Okay, as you breathe out, try to push the stretch more. Yeah. Only really think about using 50% of your power in the beginning, 1 week, 2 weeks of the stretch, right? You just want to be feeling the movement, getting the movement down with consistency, building upon your time, and leave the 100% power till you effectively have got it in the bag and you know what you're doing. Because if I push myself too hard with an unknown exercise or movement, I'm very likely to injure myself, right? That's not what we want, okay? But this stretch will help create space between your sacrum and the ilium, improve the movement, and hopefully reduce some of that pain that you guys are suffering from, okay? So listen, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and share. If you're still struggling with lower back pain, sciatica pain, chronic pain, check out my lower back pain, sciatica pain recovery course. It's in the links down below. And as I say, guys, any questions, ask me down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.